Solitude is not weakness, it is preparation. In a world that glorifies noise, company, and constant connection, we are made to believe that being alone is something to fear or fix. But the truth is, the strongest people are not those who are surrounded by crowds. They are the ones who have learned to stand in the silence and face themselves without running. Solitude is a sacred space where distractions fall away and the real work begins. It is in this quiet that you confront your doubts, face your flaws, and discover your true values. You begin to build a foundation that is not dependent on applause, support, or agreement from others. You learn to walk your own path, guided not by the voices around you, but by the inner compass of your purpose. The pain of isolation becomes the fire that forges your discipline, your resilience, and your independence. It strips away your reliance on others and teaches you to rely on the only constant in your life, yourself. So when solitude arrives, don't run from it, embrace it. It is not a setback. It is the proving ground where great spirits are prepared for greater journeys. People leave when their part in your story is over. Life is a journey filled with chapters, and not every character is meant to stay until the end. Some people enter your life to teach you something about love, about pain, about yourself. And once their lesson is delivered, the season changes. What hurts the most is not their departure, but the illusion that they were supposed to stay forever. Holding on to people who are meant to leave only delays your growth and invites unnecessary suffering. When someone walks away, don't ask why they left. Ask what you're meant to learn from their absence. Every goodbye clears space for something new. Sometimes people walk out not because they don't care, but because they can no longer walk the path you're on. Maybe their purpose in your life has been fulfilled. Maybe you've simply outgrown the connection. Either way, their exit is not your failure. It's life making room for your evolution. Mourn their absence if you must, but do not let it stop your momentum. You are not abandoned. You are being refined. Trust that the journey ahead will introduce you to the right people. When you are ready to meet them, your worth is not defined by who stays. It is a dangerous illusion to measure your value based on the presence or absence of others. People can leave for reasons that have nothing to do with you. Timing, insecurity, personal struggles, or simply their own path diverging from yours. If you internalize their departure as a reflection of your inadequacy, you will shrink yourself trying to be enough for people who were never meant to understand your light. The truth is, your worth is constant. It is not up for negotiation. It does not fluctuate based on someone's approval, affection, or acknowledgement. You were valuable before they arrived. You are still valuable after they are gone. What you offer, your loyalty, your energy, your heart, is rare. Just because someone couldn't receive it doesn't mean it lacks value. Sometimes people leave because they cannot handle the weight of your authenticity. Sometimes they walk away because your presence reminds them of what they have not yet healed in themselves. Let them go. Let them leave without bitterness. Do not make their absence a reason to doubt your strength. You do not need to prove your worth to be worthy. You already are, and you always were. Loneliness reveals what distractions once hid. When the noise fades and the room grows quiet, what you're left with is the truth. The truth about who you are, what you want, and what you've been avoiding. So many people use relationships, routines, and constant stimulation to escape the silence within. But the silence is where the real answers live. Loneliness forces you to listen to your thoughts, to your fears, to your unmet needs. It strips away the filters and exposes what was buried under the surface. In the presence of others, it's easy to lose yourself. You adapt, you compromise, you perform. But when you're alone, the masks fall. You begin to see your patterns, your desires, and the pain you've tucked away behind business. That clarity, though uncomfortable, is a gift. It's a mirror that shows you what needs to change and what needs to heal. It teaches you to stop running from yourself. What once felt like emptiness becomes sacred ground, a space where you begin to rebuild from the inside out. Don't fear that loneliness. Welcome it. Let it teach you. Let it strip you of illusions. In the quiet, you'll meet the most honest version of yourself. And that's where real power begins. Going alone builds the muscle of self-trust. When no one else is around to guide you, affirm you, or walk beside you, you are forced to rely on your own judgment. At first, it may feel terrifying. Doubt creeps in. You question every step, but with every decision you make and every obstacle you overcome by yourself, your confidence grows stronger. Self-trust is not built in comfort. It is born in isolation. It is forged in those moments when you don't know the outcome but move forward anyway. When you go alone, you begin to understand your inner voice. You stop outsourcing your choices to others. You stop living for approval or fearing rejection. You discover that you can fall and get back up. You realize that you don't need constant reassurance to take bold steps. Every solo victory, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of your unshakable belief in yourself. Eventually, your steps become lighter, your voice firmer, and your presence more grounded. You don't walk with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. That is the power of self-trust. It's not loud, it's not showy, but it is unbreakable, and it only grows when you keep going alone. Keep moving forward, even if your footsteps echo. Progress doesn't need permission. It doesn't need applause or an audience. Sometimes the most important steps you take are the ones no one sees. The nights when you keep going despite exhaustion. The mornings you rise without motivation. The moments you whisper, "I won't give up," even when no one's listening. That echo of your own footsteps is not emptiness. It's confirmation. Confirmation that you are still standing, still walking, still fighting. The journey of becoming is rarely crowded. Most people stop when the road gets hard. But if you have the courage to keep going alone, you will reach places others never will. Every step you take in solitude builds a deeper connection with your mission. It trains your focus, sharpens your discipline, and ignites a fire that cannot be extinguished by rejection, delay, or disappointment. You become unstoppable not because it's easy, but because you choose to continue even when it's hard. Let the echo of your footsteps remind you that motion is victory. The path may be lonely, but it is not pointless. Every lonely step forward is shaping you into someone the world has not yet met, but desperately needs. Keep walking.